Hey everybody, this episode of Mismatched, I'm very excited to welcome my friend and guest, Paula Vesio, who's a registered therapist and founder of House of Wellness Therapies. Now, Paula is an expert, and today we're really going to focus on postpartum, not only because this is like very relevant in my life and my circle of friends, not my life because I don't have children, hopefully one day, but and a lot of people that I know and a lot of people who are close to me, friends and family who have gone through this, there's a lot of change, and sometimes it's really hard to understand and make sense of things, and so Paula actually herself is a new mom as well. So not only can she help guide you with strategies and coping mechanisms, but also from firsthand experience and how that's kind of affected her journey as well. So welcome, Paula. Hi. It's so good to have you here.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. This is so special to me. So thank you so much for having me on.
Well, thank you for your time because I know you're a busy mom and you're an entrepreneur as well. You literally have your hand in so many different things. Tell me exactly what's going on in your life right now, because for everyone who's listening or watching, Paula doesn't just do one thing. She literally does a million things.
It's kind of a character flaw of mine. I love
it's so
to do little bits of everything.
It's so impressive. So what are you doing right now?
Oh boy. Okay. Well, I am balancing a couple of things and happily balancing a couple of things. So right now, most importantly, I'm a new mom. So I am really focusing and honing in and trying to give a lot of my heart and energy in that space, and I'm loving it. And I'm also balancing my business. So I'm really loving working with my clients that I have and any prospective and new clients that will be coming my way, and building my team, which is really, really special to me, and creating this really safe space. Like you mentioned the name House of Wellness Therapies, and that is kind of my baby on the side. So really there's like two babies going on. There's my work and there's my actual baby at home, and just creating my little family. And so all of that is kind of going on and being juggled, and juggled makes it sound like not so great. Being balanced.
No, juggling is fun, right? Yeah. Juggling is fun and it's entertaining, but also a challenge, and it's difficult. It's okay to say that for sure.
Yeah.
So Paula, when we first, were discussing what we should talk about, because there are so many things that you and I could talk about.
Yeah.
Postpartum was something that was top of mind.
Yeah.
Tell me about why this was important for you to kind of discuss and really have a conversation about for you.
Yeah. So not only is that the space I'm in, it's kind of a space I've worked in for a little bit of time. So a lot of clients that I have are new moms or new parents. And I feel like this is really special for me right now, because being a therapist, I think you're so much more relatable when you have lived experience. Mm-hmm. And so every kind of phase of life that I experience, or every situation or circumstance that might fall in my lap, I kind of use it as a learning opportunity for myself and for my own personal growth, but also as an opportunity for me to relate more with my clients. So they might not know that behind the scenes, but it gives me a little bit more confidence or a few more aha moments of, I know what you're going through. So this makes this relationship that we have a little bit stronger because I've been through it too. So right now, my heart has opened up a lot more to new parents, because that's kind of the phase that I'm in. So I feel like it's kind of strengthened me as a person, but also strengthened me as a practitioner and as a clinic owner to kind of think too, okay, these are the things that myself and my circle has experienced with new parenthood. Mm-hmm. And so here are the things that I think people might need or benefit from. And so these are the things I would like to offer. And so that's kind of why postpartum is a really big thing for me right now.
It makes a lot of sense. And I'm sure a lot of people can appreciate something like that, because I don't know how many times, people have sat in a chair and been like, you have no idea what this is. Yeah. You've never gone through. I know I have said that, not to a therapist, but I've said that like to my mom, for example, and saying like, when she's, bless her heart, I love her. I can only imagine how you feel. Like, I know how you feel and it's going to be okay. I'm like, but you don't know that. Like, you haven't gone through what I've gone through.
Yeah.
You had it easier in a very different like circumstance, you know, easier and harder in other ways. But so having gone through that perspective, I'm sure like really adds to the assistance that you can and relatability that you can give for people.
Yeah, I think that also having been someone who's been in a chair and had someone say to me, just wait, you'll see.
Yeah.
I kind of want to hug those people in a sense because it is true. And while maybe I would deliver a message a little bit differently about that, I can't believe what this experience looks like now, having been in it and being in it fully. So I want to kind of hug and reach out to all the moms out there that I maybe wouldn't have seen before because, and dads, because I see them now in a different perspective and a different light, and lived experience is so different. And
For sure.
it's so important in this space that I'm in. So for that, I'm also grateful for being postpartum. Yeah.
So I want to get right into it before we get to your personal experience. Is that I think there's a lot of confusion, and I mean, like I said, even just speaking to a lot of my friends and family, most of my friends, as you know, and like my group, like have children, multiple kids, and have all had very different experiences. But one thing that I think is a common question that a lot of people ask themselves are, what is the difference between baby blues, between postpartum depression, anxiety? Like, what is the difference between all of those things?
It's a really good question. And I feel like the best way to answer that is, baby blues and postpartum depression are pretty similar. I mean, there's something that I think the person has to have an honest conversation with themselves about what's going on with me right now. Am I really struggling in the day-to-day of this? Are the feelings?
What is the day-to-day? Like mundane tasks, you mean? Or
that's a great comment. I would say mundane tasks.
Okay.
And maybe mundane isn't the right word because they're not so mundane. It's daily tasks. So if your mental state is impeding on your daily living or your ability to function day to day, that's when I would raise a brow to myself and say, okay, what is going on here with me? Is this something that I need support with? Am I going to wake up after a nap and feel refreshed, rejuvenated, and better? Or am I going to not be able to continue on with my day? So to kind of go back and re-answer that, I think that it's, okay, we're all experiencing hormonal changes postpartum. And so there's a big normalcy and a human experience that's happening there. But then there's also something where it becomes chronic and we can't shake it on our own. And so it's not just emotional regulation that we need to experience. It's, okay, I need some more support. I need to take a step back and I need to have some loving arms come in and help me. So it's really different for every single person, but it also takes having an honest conversation with yourself about, am I really struggling here and do I need extra support, or is this something I can balance and manage on my own?
Often going through that process, and probably, especially with the first, I feel like for a lot of women, you don't know what you're experiencing. So everything is so new. Second time around, I think people are able to kind of take a step back and refer to, what they have already experienced. But it being the first time around for a lot of people, I've heard, and my friends have been, we like very close, so we have honest conversations of this concept of like intrusive thoughts that kind of come into your mind that people are so afraid to say out loud because you sound like a horrible, person, but it's normal to feel that way.
Yeah. The intrusive thoughts are real. I have experienced them. I'm a human too. And so I love to hear you say that. And it's a warming conversation to have with other parents because it makes you feel not alone. But they're normal. They're scary. No one wants to have them. An intrusive thought, just for an example, can be like, I'm holding my son and I'm petrified I'm going to fly down the stairs and he is going to do backflips and land face plant.
Yeah.
And so something like that, while it could very well happen, I mean, it's very unlikely. So I think something that happens in the intrusive thoughts is that we kind of spiral a little bit and we allow our mind to kind of take over and wander. And so that's a big part of being postpartum too, is being able to kind of catch ourselves in those moments and question, okay, is there any evidence or facts to support these feelings that I'm having? And probably the answer is going to be no. And so how can we kind of reframe these intrusive thoughts and circle back and say, no, I'm a strong, capable parent that's doing my best, and it's unlikely that these things will happen, and I'm doing my best to prevent them.
The thing is when you say it like this, and I hear it, and I, again, like I don't have this experience. I'm going to keep saying that because I know moms are going to be like, you have no idea every time that I comment on something.
You have such
a
really experience.
I really
so
don't.
You do.
But is like, in the moment when you are experiencing these things, it is really, really hard to kind of check yourself and ask yourself these questions, especially when you are sleep deprived, because often that's a commonality and just like the real of when that happens. And I know even myself, when I'm sleep deprived, I get like delulu and hypersensitive and emotional. And so like on top of like all of those hormones, like it's so hard.
Yeah.
Did you experience that as
yes.
well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Sometimes I still do. And it's very real for parents to experience sleep deprivation for a long time. Having a strong partner who's experiencing that alongside you and kind of, sharing that is also really important. And we can kind of get into that a little bit later.
I would love to get into that.
But yes, I experienced sleep deprivation at its finest. I had many moments. And so this will kind of dive us into my personal experience a little bit.
If you're comfortable sharing.
Yeah, of course. So, full disclosure, I had a colicky baby, and
that's
so
hard.
Not to label that as a scary or bad thing. It's just an experience that we went through that we are out of, thankfully, that we just had to go through and come out of. So that really added to the sleep deprivation. And sleep deprivation, what I mean by that is that I was having broken sleep. We were having broken sleep. So maybe every hour we would be waking, sometimes every 2, sometimes every 3. And sometimes when you get into those longer cycles, it's almost worse because you get into a deep sleep.
For sure.
Then you're
like REM is
open.
Interrupted then. Yeah.
Yeah. So, that did happen. And not that I want to wear that as a badge of honor, but it's just a really tough time. And it's great to have a support network then and to reach out if you're feeling stuck or that you're struggling and try and take shifts. But sleep deprivation definitely added to the intrusive thoughts or the hormonal fluctuations and my own postpartum anxiety. So we can kind of dive into that if you want to hear a little bit about that.
Tell me about your whole experience if you can. So like how long have you guys been married, and what was your journey like even with pregnancy?
Yeah, so we have been married since 2023, and we got pregnant a year after marriage, which I thought was a really great time for us, and we felt ready. And by saying we felt ready, I think that really rode on me because I was waiting for myself to feel like, okay, I'm ready to
I know a lot of people
sleep.
say like you'll never feel ready. No, but you really, I think there, as much as, you say that, there is like, in terms of like logistics of your life that has to make sense to set yourself up for that change, because it is going to change your life, right?
It's totally going to change. And some people don't need to feel like they've got that all sorted. For me and my character type, I really felt like I wanted to be a little mindful of when this experience and when these changes were going to happen. So there were a couple things I really felt I wanted to do before pregnancy. And me and my friends ran a half marathon right before, and everyone, my sisters, my family were like, when are you going to try? When are you going to try? And I'm like, not till this half marathon is done. And I can just prove to myself that I'm going to cross that finish line. And I swear the day later, I was like, oh, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Nice.
Just a few goals for myself that I really wanted to do. So we just as a couple also just felt ready to invite someone into our home and into our space. So thankfully, my pregnancy was really enjoyable, and positive. And I know that pregnancy can be very, very challenging for lots of moms. And so my heart is out to all people who are experiencing any difficulty in getting pregnant or, just having a difficult time, because it's a scary one. And my intrusive thoughts started in pregnancy.
I was just going to say that. Like, I know we were talking about postpartum, but like, is it is that a
pregnancy,
thing? Pre-pregnancy?
I don't know.
Anxiety and depression and all of that also exists during pregnancy.
For sure.
Like, I mean, this is ridiculous, but I watched Mormon Wives, and one of the girls on there like talked about it, and I honestly like never even came to mind that could be a possibility. But I think it's, correct me if I'm wrong, but I try and imagine myself of like a lot of the anxiety that you don't know what's going on exactly. Mm-hmm. You want to be doing the best that you can. Sure. And when sometimes, things don't go as planned, then you yourself feel responsible. Yeah. And so it's really hard to also cope with all of those things as well.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think that there's this pressure for me. I'll speak for myself and then in general about people that I've coached and worked with. But there's this kind of pressure that I felt right away to, okay, how am I going to make this body of mine be so clean and healthy for this little one that I'm creating? And how can I do that the best that I can? And so this pressure kind of came innately on myself. No one put that on me, but that was something to ground myself in and work on myself with. And it was a challenge. And every time I went for an ultrasound, I was really nervous. And is there a heartbeat? Is there a heartbeat? All the time. And I would talk to some people about that, and they would be like, hey, like, where's that coming from? And I was like, I don't know. It's just a hormone change and a new part of me that I'm learning and hoping to kind of regulate so that I don't experience this all that much. But that was so anxiety certainly started during my pregnancy and was something I really tried to quiet. So other than that, I mean, it was a beautiful experience. I really enjoyed being pregnant and really missed that. It was fun.
Oh, that's so nice. Yeah. I pray that I have an experience like that. My God,
I hope just say
I'm going to be a swollen whale. Like, I feel like
I was at the end. I definitely was. It's not fun. And I don't think that you have that in you.
You carried beautifully. So even you may have felt that, but it definitely didn't look that way.
You'll be the same.
For sure.
You'll be the same.
And how was your birth story? Because that's another thing too. Easy according to plan, not according to plan. Was that difficult?
My poor friends have heard this story about 100 times. It was very difficult, and I don't want to scare any mom. I have heard wonderful stories. So I have heard wonderful.
Paula, you're the best. Stories. There are good ones out there. Mine's just not
it. There's great ones. There's really good birth stories, I promise. No, I personally know people who have had like dream-worthy births and deliveries, and so those do exist. Mine wasn't so much that. So to kind of not give anyone a scary version of that, I mean, I was induced, so that wasn't all that fun. And
I've heard that.
Yeah, they were like, oh, this is going to take you about 12 hours for this medication to kick in. And it kicked in within like 2 to 4. And so I was 0 to 100 really quick. And epidural was at 9.5 centimeters. So I didn't really get it. And so whoever says get the epidural early is like, has your back.
Okay.
Have your back.
I you know what? I go back and forth between, you go in with an idea of how you're going to do this. And I say to myself, I'm like, there's a part of me that feels like, give me all the drugs so I feel nothing and like numb all the things. Yeah. And then I think there's also like a pressure though, because you think about women, hundreds of years ago that did nothing.
You can do it with nothing.
And it's like women do it with nothing. So then you want to have like this, intestinal fortitude hero of like, I'm going to do this with nothing. Give me nothing. And then in the moment, I feel like, a lot of the time women change their mind and then sometimes it's too late.
So I didn't have this idea of that hero. I wasn't going to medicate if I needed to. I knowing myself, I love to think that would have been pleasurable for me, or not pleasurable for me, enjoyable and beautiful. And so I had this idea that I would have like a water birth at first. And
that's what I think too. See, that's my imagination. Of like, but then I feel like it's not going to happen.
I mean, it could. So put that energy and those vibes out there.
Thanks, Paula.
I really like thought I would labor in the tub and like
yeah.
I had all of these like very like
Because there are you
centering,
watch these beautiful
yeah.
experiences that you're like, wow, I would
They
love
exist.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're possible. And I
Yeah.
mean, regardless, thinking back to it, as painful as it is the most beautiful experience ever. It is very challenging, but we go through it, and the body is the most incredible thing ever, that we can experience a situation or a moment like that and recover and get back to yourself. And so I think if to take something away, it's we're really capable of a lot. And
Women are amazing.
yeah.
I'm just gonna say it. What we can do is unbelievable.
yeah. I think it's amazing. So I had although very challenging, it was something I will never ever forget. And my husband was a complete champ. And
I was just gonna ask, so who did you have in the room with you?
My mom and husband labored with me.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately, I told my mom to leave when I was ready to push. It was like,
Did you really?
So many people in the room.
Yeah.
I was like, this should just be him and I.
Yeah.
And it was, I remember saying this to a mentor of mine, which is, there was a lot of chaos around when it came time to push. And I swear I didn't hear any voice but his. And I think that was so grounding for me and for us as a couple. And it showed me how much I trust him and how much I like really, really, really value like his patience and calmness in that space. And that'll make me cry.
You're gonna make me cry.
Yeah.
I feel emotional too.
Yeah,
That's so sweet.
it was so crazy because there was lots of noise, but everyone was telling me what to do, but he was saying it after, and then I was hearing that. And so it felt chaotic, but very safe. So yeah, I think like depending on who your support people are, it's really important to have someone in the room that feels like so connected with you and that you feel safe with, because it is a difficult and trying time.
For sure. And that's why they say, you know, when you have a child, like you bring life into this world with someone that you have that connection with to go through all these really difficult times, because you guys are the only ones that really know what each other is like going through.
Yeah.
So tell me how you picked him then, because you know we're talking about the importance of a good partner, and often, you know, there are certain traits that I think are really important to look for if you're looking for a fatherly like husband. You know, some gentlemen are just not that way and they don't want to have kids, and that's fine. But there definitely are other qualities that are important to like look for and have in those, so they were reflected in moments like this, and then afterwards, of course.
Yeah, I think one of the standout parts of my partner is that in every single big moment, he is always so solid and always so there. Like his emotional attunement is spot on. So I imagine it's very difficult to be in a relationship with a therapist, but he in so many ways embodies a lot of those things as well. And so I think we really connected on that front of, I don't have anything I feel like I need to teach you. And not that I'm a teacher.
No, but I can honestly say in all of the relationships I've ever been in, I don't think I've ever felt that way before. But it's possible.
It's possible. It's possible. And it's a really relieving and refreshing experience. And so that exists, but it also comes with a lot of work on their part. So I've done a lot of self-discovery, a lot of work, a lot of attunement work myself, and a lot of self-regulation work myself. And to find a partner who also has experienced that and done their own work was really refreshing.
Did he do therapy as well?
He definitely did therapy.
Really?
I'm sorry, check.
No, I think that's to be celebrated.
It's
You're a
to
hero.
be celebrated. I mean, therapy is a little bit of a trendy thing right now,
Yeah.
but yes, he did his own work and wanted to learn a lot about himself in his own times. This was well before he met me, and it was really reflected in our early experiences. So that's kind of how I felt like. I'm like looking like I'm picking. No, I wasn't picking. But yeah, that's how.
But
it
you
felt
recognize that, like you can tell when someone has done work, and based on what they say, what they do, and what they mean.
Absolutely. So not saying there's perfection in our relationship by any means, but there's some really big things for me that are green flags. And it's like being able to self-regulate and being able to, apologize when you've done wrong or, reflect on something. And those are all very, very, very big parts of Francesco's character. So that's how I felt like he would be a great partner, but also a wonderful dad because we share a lot of similar childhood experiences too, but we can both look back on those and say, hey, I would like this to be a little bit different when we're parents. And not that they were experiences that we look back on our parents and say, oh, what a crappy job.
Right.
But reflective again and being able to kind of say, that had this kind of impact on me or that had this impact on me. And we hope to kind of bridge that and make it better for our children. So loved that. That felt really safe and comfortable for me.
Yeah. And that's, again, like a point of connection that you're on the same page of like how you're moving forward in your relationship as well.
Yeah.
So tell me about postpartum then in marriage, if we can talk about that, because I think a lot of people struggle with that. A lot of people struggle with possibly like not being clear with roles or asking for the support or being able to rely on your partner.
Yeah.
Because I've been recently in therapy, my therapist had said to me, she was like, you can't be afraid, and this is in a different context, but I feel like it still relates. Yeah. You can't be afraid of someone disappointing you. You have to give someone the opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, then they're never gonna step up.
Yeah.
And show you, and then you're not going to be able to trust in them. And carrying that weight all on your own is also like exhausting all the time.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that that's so relevant to this topic for sure. I think it takes a character to be able to, so for example, with us, I told myself that I needed to give him space to learn on his own. Being a father is going to be different than being a mother. Now, his instinct is to help me and support me however that looks. And that's just instinctual for him. And so it was also really beautiful watching him figure that out. So our first night home was challenging because we both had no clue what we were doing. Both have had friends and, I have a nephew and
but it's not different. The same. Yeah, I think about that. I'm like, when you walk through the door, it's like, okay, now what?
Yeah.
What do we do?
We were like struggling with feeding. So our son was born a little bit underweight. So there was some scary aspects that caused me to feel anxious. I remember I didn't know how the heck to get our bottle put together. And he was just there helping me regulate during very stressful times, but I also watched him struggle. Like I would say, hey, can you pass me the diaper caddy, or some words that I would use, like what's a bassinet? What is a swaddle? All of these things that women who have friends and who have experienced this themselves will know what those items are. But sometimes your partner doesn't. And not to gender it, because sometimes men are very actively involved in learning those things before, and that's great. But I watched Francesco experience his own postpartum. And so it took me to step back and say, I need to allow him to have this journey too. And so our roles kind of fell into place when we let them. So we weren't at each other's throats. And again, not to say we're perfect. We had our moments of, just get out of my way type thing, right? By no means are we perfect, but it took, okay, what happened there? Like, okay, that's fine. He's got to do that. I roll to myself and be like, Paula, be quiet. Like, I probably I like to control and do things my way. And
of course, every other woman.
That's my nature. And it's something I have to check myself on often. But he has a wonderful way of doing things. And so it's work for myself to say, okay, I need it done my way, but I don't. His way has worked. Our son's survived when he's with him. He's totally capable. And so it's difficult as parents to be able to navigate something like that. But I watched him fall into his own role. So if we allow people the space to disappoint us or not,
or make a mistake,
yeah. Or figure out their own way, because
that may not be your way,
right?
But it's still okay.
It's still a way. It still works.
Yeah.
It's still okay. So I think that is so important, and a key part to postpartum is having a strong support system. And it's also okay if that takes time with your partner. It's an adjustment phase, and it's a great opportunity to also enter couples work if that's kind of what you need, because sometimes we don't know to be reflective until we're told or until we're taught, and it's a skill. It's not something that we're born with. So there's space for improvement, and postpartum can kind of show some things that might pop up in relationship that you maybe didn't experience before because you didn't need to.
And that doesn't mean that like your relationship is bad or wrong. Right. It just means it's changing and evolving.
Yeah, as you need it to.
Right.
Right. It's appropriately evolving, and we're also adding a person into the home, and so that can cause different things.
Mm-hmm, for sure. Now, and in saying all of this, a lot of the time, and I think I speak more for women, but also I feel like men might also experience this as well. There's this commonality of resentment or feeling overloaded, and that is like really easy. Like men can feel it in the sense of, oh, it's no longer about me. But then women also feel it of like, I have to do all of this, because most often it is on you, especially if you're breastfeeding. That is like, solely a female task. How do you like navigate those feelings? And I even think to myself, like, I feel like I would very much feel that way, because you lose a part of yourself and what you're able to do.
Yeah. I love that question or this topic. I think it's something that a lot of people experience postpartum. I had glimmers of that myself. And I think that one thing that I challenge most of my couples to do, and I challenged myself to do in this phase, was if I'm feeling something, I'm going to talk about it. So resentment kind of builds.
Oh, yeah.
When
oh, yes, it does. Because everyone likes to suppress it because you feel crazy for bringing it up, and you don't want to seem like you're too much or you're asking for too much. It's like, no, I signed up for this. But at the same time, the longer that you wait, exactly what you're saying, the worse that it gets.
Yeah, and I think when we let things pile up, we don't actually give space for our partner to show up or to make the changes. So I think resentment isn't fair to the other side, right? So you're right. There's some things that women will innately take care of in postpartum, like breastfeeding or, feeling like whatever the task they choose, they will pick up on, and that looks different in every household. There's other things my husband did that were just as important, though. And I had to give him space to do that. And so that would look like, I've never seen him cook so much food in my life. Yeah. He's a great cook. But while I was doing something, he didn't just sit there and watch me and say, what do you need? Or just do his own stuff. Like, we clued in, we checked in. And I think that that's something I want to encourage my couples to do, that I'm working with, but also other parents out there that are postpartum, check in with each other. Let's get back to, we're on the same team. So while I'm experiencing defeat or frustration or exhaustion from breastfeeding, all of the things, he's also experiencing overload in other areas. My husband works like 12-hour days. I was going to say 10. I don't even think that's accurate.
Yeah.
Right? So he picks up in other areas, and he was picking up in other areas. And I had to check myself often and think, okay, before I allow this thought and feeling to take over of, me being upset at him for something.
Yeah.
He didn't sleep either. We're both tired. We're both going through this. We both have to navigate this experience. I'm on this side and experiencing these things. He's on this side experiencing these things. And there's some spillover. But if we're both taking care of our parts, let's give each other some gratitude and respect. And I think that's important. And so while there's not space for that in every relationship. So this is nuanced because every couple will experience different things. And some women and some men will be upset about genuine things that require them to be upset about. So I don't want to take away from that.
Yeah.
But I'll always encourage people to kind of pause and reflect, like, let's come back to our senses and ground ourselves here. What's actually going on at the core of this?
Mm-hmm.
So am I feeling alone and unseen and sleep deprived? Okay, how can we chat about that then? And how can we come up with a solution as a couple where we're both stepping up?
One of the things that you said that I think is really cool is how your husband wouldn't just sit there and be like, hey, what do you need me to do now? Like, I think that's very special that he takes the initiative to figure it out.
Yeah.
Is that like a taught thing? Is that just innate? Like, just people should just be like that? Because I've always struggled with this, honestly, because I consider myself also to be like a very thoughtful, considerate person.
You are.
Where I like consider somebody else often that I don't think I also have ever been with somebody who, maybe one person, who has genuinely put me like ahead of them or like had done things without me having to ask for it. And I know communication is important and you can like work on those things.
Yeah.
But I also think there's like a limit to how much you have to ask for what you deserve or like need without having to say it, you know, or beg for it.
Yeah, I hear you. He is good at that. He learned that. I can't say he was always good at that, but I look at his parents' relationship for an example, and they are great caretakers of each other. And so they're a wonderful team. When one of them is struggling, the other steps up. And so he's also been raised in that kind of environment where he saw, okay, when times are tough and when we're struggling here, we're both struggling. And so we're going to do our best to help out. So
that helps having that model and like seeing that.
Right.
That definitely helps because it carries over for sure.
It helps. It's also a part of his personality. He's very much a giver and very much a sensitive person in that way. So he would give his left arm and his right one too. But he's just like that, probably more so than I am in our relationship. And so that is very helpful. So
not for anything, I think it should be that way. I think it should be that. I'm probably not supposed to say that, especially to a therapist, but I think it's supposed to be that way.
So yeah, that was really helpful for us. But resentment is relevant. We definitely have experienced it. He has his things that I've for sure upset him about, but one thing that we do is we reflect and we circle back and we repair. So very important.
Is there like a check-in system that you have, or is it just like as soon as something's bothering you, that's when you sit down and like have that conversation?
I don't want to say we have this like rigid system. No, by no means do we have that. And that is also okay. So if people do have that, I also support that. We just have this open dialogue where we don't just let stuff fly. Like if I'm upset about something and it's not something that it needs to roll off my back, that I just okay, Paula, that's like get on with it. Don't be upset about that and keep it going and reflect on my own about it. But if it's something I want to say, I'll just like check in and say, hey, is it okay if we talk about this? And maybe it's not an opportune time and we'll just set aside some time. So just being intentional about when is a good time to talk about something and is it something that requires a discussion? Because not everything's a 911 and not everything is a, hey, we got to sit down and chat about that. But some things are. And so we have this just open dialogue where we can do that. And I encourage lots of people to do that. And you can get to that space. It requires a lot of safety and a lot of openness.
Speaking of openness, you know, I think as we're discussing all of this in postpartum, I think a lot of women also might struggle with the point of when do I seek help? How do I know that I cannot self-regulate and I can't do this anymore and I actually need help in doing this?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think that there's no bad time to get help. So the pressures that come along with being a new parent or a parent of 2 or 3 or however, it's always a good time to seek support because it is added pressure on your lifestyle. So anyone would struggle in that space appropriately and it would be okay to reach out. I don't think you need to be on the brinks of, a breakdown or a catastrophe going on for it to be the right time. So at any point is the blank answer, like the best answer I could give. But I think when it's really important is, there's hopefully people around you that are supporting you or connecting with you daily. Mm-hmm. They're likely going to say, hey.
Well, that was my follow-up question is like, what if you're on the other side of it as a friend and you see that your sister-in-law, friend, colleague is struggling? How do you also approach that conversation? Because it could go two ways.
It could.
Really quick, especially, the hormones, you're also like not completely yourself. So you may react in a different way, or they might brush it off and not think that it's a thing. Like how do you suggest also kind of bringing this up delicately so as to not make someone feel worse than they probably already do?
Yeah. I love that you're asking that because that means that you want to be sensitive to it, and that probably a lot of other people want to be sensitive to it too. And it is a sensitive thing to bring up. If you're feeling like your friend is needing support, likely they're feeling that too. And so you might humanize an experience for them or validate it by bringing it up. So that's a great thing to want to bring it up if you're really noticing someone's struggling. Mm-hmm. It's not a bad thing to be in therapy. I think it's a really healthy thing to want to reach goals, want to, better your life circumstance, want to feel better about yourself as a whole. There's a whole host of things that we could describe that are reasons to go to therapy. So it doesn't have to be, okay, there's a problem and you're nuts. Like that's certainly not it, right? Yeah. And so I think gently just saying, hey, I love you and I'm here for you, and I recognize that, you seem not yourself lately. Have you been feeling that way? How can I support you to maybe think of going to therapy? Have you thought about talking to someone? Would that feel relieving to you? Does that feel like something that would help? Can I help you look for someone? So it could go a million different ways.
For sure. That's like a very gentle way of asking someone if they need that support. One of the things that I also, again, I try and put myself in these scenarios that even my girlfriends have talked about is the idea that postpartum, your body changes a lot as a woman. And there's a lot of body image, and there's, I think, pressure for moms to bounce back and get back to it. And then there's also, the extreme fatigue. There's the fact that your body literally does not look the same. It probably won't for quite some time, which is natural, but also like hard to understand. Like there is dysmorphia when I'm sure that you look at yourself in the mirror. I'll never forget, one of my best friends had said, she was like, it was the weirdest thing. Like, she's like, I gave birth and then I was like walking to go to the bathroom or hobbling. And she's like, and I looked in the mirror and I was like, nope, still a bump.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, but it makes sense. But like, I feel like I would feel the exact same way. Like so how do you kind of also give tools or suggestions for people to really kind of wrap your head around all of that as well? Because that's really challenging.
It is. It's really hard. I think also social media, I don't know about anyone else's feed. Mine was all women bouncing back and all fit moms, and that might have been something that I was really interested in. I've always loved exercise, and so maybe my Instagram algorithm knew that might be something.
They're like, oh, you're a mom now, so we're going to get you fit moms.
Yeah, right. So it is very challenging. The pressure is there because it's normal to compare yourselves to other moms, and I experienced that. I'm sure lots of other moms experienced that. And the biggest thing for me is being gentle with yourself. Taking some time to ground yourself back into, what did I just experience? What am I doing? What is this phase that I'm in? What is this beautiful thing that I'm taking care of right now? And so kind of recentering and reframing around what's important. Not really how I look at all. More so, how am I nourishing my body to be able to, if I'm breastfeeding, feed this, to provide. Yeah, exactly. And it's checking in with yourself about, how am I feeling? Is this pressure something that's unhealthy for me? Because I think for me, wanting to get back into the gym was something important because that's my self-care. That's like your time.
Mental escape, like that I hear you.
And not every mom
feels that way.
Feels that way. And that's
a lot of people do it because they have to do it, or
right.
you know.
And so I would say maybe that's not the right mind frame to be in when you're putting all these pressures on your body, because, you know, I don't want to get into, I don't have the scientific background to go into what our body is actually experiencing scientifically and biologically in that moment. But it's a lot.
I've read something like, and don't quote me on this, but it was something like it takes a woman 2 years to fully get back to like how you were in terms of like your weight, your even structure, your hormones, mental health, like all these elements for you to feel back to you. 2 years, a lot can happen. If it's like, that's like a long time.
Yeah.
So for people to just think, oh, I should fit back into my jeans in like 4 or 5 months, it's like, no, you actually shouldn't.
I want to say everyone's experience is totally different, and there should be no pressure on any mom to put on themselves to fit into anything or to look a certain way. I think everyone's lived experience is going to point them in whatever direction that it needs to, be it rest is most important right now. Nutrition is most important right now. Self-care is most important right now. And whatever that looks like for you, for me, self-care is also through healthy food. And so that was a big thing for me too. But every single mom is going to have a different lived experience in that space. And the body image pressures are there. It's also something worth kind of talking about in a therapeutic space to figure out, okay, what are your goals? Like, how does that feel for you? And what are you prepared to do to get back to you feeling good? Not necessarily you looking good, but how do we get you back to feeling good? Yeah.
When did you decide to like go back to the gym? Because you are an extremely fit and like goal-oriented person. Like you've always had like,
I would say goals for me are like a big thing that I focus on. I went back as soon as I could. So I went back at my 6-week mark.
Good for you.
And I just felt good. Yeah. I was feeling really recovered at that point. And that's why I was mentioning that the body does crazy things, because I was not expecting to feel healed. Not that I'm healed or that perfectly in any way, but
felt ready.
I felt ready. And it was a beautiful and exciting thing for me to walk back into the gym, and I proudly did it. And like even just to walk, I was so excited to do that and feel that was my time for me, and I'm so grateful for it.
How did you manage to make the time? Because that's also a real thing too, of like mom guilt, and it's like I should be there all the time. I can't leave. Yeah. I know like a lot of people that won't leave their babies with their husbands. I'm like, but it's your husband. Like maybe your mother-in-law or your mom, even them, like, you know, they've done it before. They're it's going to be okay. But a lot of women, I think, struggle with that as well.
So that's a very valid struggle. For me, it took internal reflection and saying, why am I struggling with that? Is it because I don't trust them to watch Cole? He's going to be okay. They love him. They love him. So they want to watch him. They want their time with him too. And it was a balance of dad is more than capable. He's my husband, but he's also Cole's father. So he loves him just as much, and he'll do a great job, and he's learning. And we had lots of hands on deck. So I was blessed in that department of being able to call up my mother-in-law, call up my mom, my sisters, whoever, friends, to say, hey, you want to come over for an hour and a half, and I can just scoot over to the gym and just have a breather, and I'll be right back.
Yeah.
And the mom guilt was real, but I think that we as parents do better when we take care of ourselves first. And not to say that I was great at putting myself first. Cole for sure came first, which was a thing that I had to figure out. But I also knew I was going to be a better mom by grounding myself, having that time, and taking care of me, because I needed to.
For sure. That's awesome, by the way, and good for you.
Thanks.
One of the things that you mentioned too, Paula, was social media. Social media is a rabbit hole for like, especially if you're a parent. Like it's a rabbit hole in general of like competition and like, you know, terrible things that you're exposed to and whatnot. But as a parent, it is a whole other world of information overload and pressure, and do it this way and don't do it this way. This is the right way. This is the wrong way. Like, how do you also censor that and navigate the realities that as a parent, I'm sure, I mean, I would do this when there's an issue. I'm going to look on my phone and seeing what everybody else is doing or saying.
Yeah,
If I'm
sure.
not on the phone, I'm on my phone.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause I'm
Right.
scrolling,
Yeah.
How do you tell people or teach people to manage what they're ingesting, because it could turn into like neurosis real quick?
Yeah, I agree. And my own experience too. I mean, TikTok has become my Google. But, I love that. I love seeing people's lived experience and being able to look at it and say, that relates to me, or that feels comfortable, or that feels good, or okay, beautiful for them that was their experience, not so much for me. So having it not turn into neurosis is really, how are you going to be able to decipher what feels like it connects and what doesn't? Does this sit well with me? Am I able to digest this in a way that fits
like
into my life? Is it helpful?
Yeah.
Or is it just someone else's way of kind of self-care and figuring their own stuff out? Because I think that's also what social media is some people, are able to put their lives on camera, and I love that and respect that. And some of it will fit and stick and be, relatable, and some won't. So take what you want, collect your information, and go.
Yeah.
So being able to discern
unfollow or pass the things that don't serve you, essentially.
I think so.
And with coming with that, I think there's also the judgment. I think a lot of the time that postpartum, like a lot of moms feel, is judgment from their parents, from their friends that have done it before.
Sure.
From, again, like looking at things even online that like, that's not how I'm doing it, but it's working. Is it right? Mm-hmm. How do you also kind of deal with those sorts of expectations and pressures? I know so many times of my friends being like snapping, there's a lot of snapping in moments like that of like, well, I didn't do it like that, or my daughter didn't do that, and so you shouldn't be doing that either, or they're behind on that. That's not good. They're not at that weight or height, and maybe you're not doing something right. Like also the judgment.
That sounds so
people are brutal.
Yeah, no, it sounds loud. I don't like that noise about that.
Yeah.
Like I think that's so real and relevant. For me, I really check myself when I'm talking to mom friends to try and not be that way. I never, ever, ever want to be the source of someone feeling judged or someone feeling like, oh, I got to live up to that. And me too, when people talk to me that way, it stings a little bit. And I'm like, oh, am I like doing this right? And so it comes back to self-confidence, being able to trust yourself and, not taking that on and really being able to, decipher and what's feeling good for me and what's not. Mm-hmm. So
how do you shut that shit down?
Yeah, you just say, for me, I'm like, I'm not gonna roll with that. Like I'm gonna go with what I'm doing, and I'm gonna trust myself in what feels right for me. But sometimes it's also nice to look and say, okay, by 6 months, this is generally around the space we should be at. Or, I can shoot a text to someone and say, hey, what kind of solids what are you doing with solids? I'm panicking over here that he's gonna choke, right?
Yeah.
Things like that. So it's just, I got lost in the sauce there.
No, not at all. Judgment of like from other people. I think in what you're saying, it's like having trust in yourself.
Yes.
And I actually I feel like I have said this to my sister-in-law, because it's quite difficult in saying like, you're his mom.
Yeah.
You know better than anybody else. Everyone's going to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
And like, it's your choice whether you take it or not. But you're doing great. You're doing so good. I like
love
you're
that.
killing it, mom. Like, and I don't think there's enough of that. And it's easier to be judgmental than it is to be, that you're doing great.
Yeah. There's not this kind of rule book of how to be a good mom and what is a good mom.
Yeah.
You're a good mom if you're trying and you're caring and you care enough to be good and to do right by your kid. And I think we all have that ability as moms and dads to do our best. And so that makes you a good parent. And so comparing to other people is really challenging because we're not all the same. So our kids are not all the same.
Right.
And so they don't all do things at the same time. They don't all reach milestones at the same time. They don't all need the same things. There's a million apparatuses for kids.
I know.
And they don't all want those things.
Yeah.
So you can only be so prepared about what's to come because every child is different, just like we're all different. So yeah, the judgment is a difficult space. It really comes with having to lower the volume and quieting that and being able to not allow that to affect you. And that takes a little bit of strength and trust in yourself that, hey, I got this. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. And sometimes that takes time too.
Yeah.
Because with time, you will be more confident.
Yeah.
And every day that goes by or every new challenge or hurdle that you overcome, that you gain that wisdom and then strength like behind it. For sure.
Yeah.
Well, Paula, tell us about this booklet that you have over here because this is such a great tool and resource, I think, that a lot of people would find super helpful.
Thanks. I hope so. This is something really special to me. So it's called The Grounded Mother. And I put this together and wrote some of this as a little bit of like a tool guide for new parents while I was feeling like I was in the trenches. So in moments when I felt triggered or stretched thin or exhausted and not really sure how to navigate and get back to me, this was kind of the list of things that I did that I found really helpful. So this might stick and resonate for some people. Maybe some people will look at it, appreciate it, and pass. But I hope that it brings some people the ability to ground themselves and self-regulate in moments that feel really chaotic during what's supposed to be a really beautiful experience. So yeah.
That's great. So where can people find it and get it and use it?
Yeah. So this is free on my website. So what you can do is
Plug your website.
Yeah, I will. I'll definitely send you the link. So it's there and created just to help and support. It's not something that I'm looking to, gain anything from anyone. I mean, I just hope that this brings calm into a lot of people's homes. And so my website, www.houseofwellnesstherapies.com. And there's a tab that says ebook, and you can plug in your email and it'll be sent to you as a free download. Yeah.
That's so great. That's amazing. And
Thanks.
so lovely that you're doing that for so many people.
Thanks.
And I'm so excited for your business and your future and all the things that you're going to accomplish and all the people that you're going to help.
Thanks.
You've always had, I remember like when I first met you, you just have this very calming, asserted, like comforting presence about you. So
thanks. I appreciate that. That means so much to me.
It's true. You're going to be very successful in all of this. And I really appreciate you sharing your personal experiences as well.
I loved it.
And I'm sure a lot of people can relate. So thank you for helping them and briefing me for what's to come.
I can't wait to get that message from you.
Oh, girl, I'm going to text you right away. I'm like, Paula's here. But thank you so much for your time. Again, plug your social media or anything else where anybody can follow you and listen and or seek help.
Yeah, okay, for sure. Thank you so much for having me. I absolutely loved this conversation. I could talk about it all day. So thank you. I loved it.
Yeah.